Yo, what up, and welcome everybody back to Pnoid News. Man, listen, I know I ain't been putting out a lot of content recently. I'll be honest with you, man. Look, I don't know what to say about half of this nonsense anymore because I told everybody what it was gonna be and it's happening. So like, it is what it is, you know. But in the meantime, look. Donald Trump was down here with Cpac and he then gave a speech, right? And I'll be honest, I can't stand Donald Trump's rhetoric. Like, I'll be real with you. Like, I don't like it, and I hate where the debate is because I think it's stupid, and let me be real, okay? I can't stand what the media has done to the basic conversation of where we are with everything as a whole, right? I hate the fact that the bottom portion of society can't stand up for itself anymore. It aggravates me to no end. But look, let's get into this, and we're going to correct this as we go through.
They're great, and I want to thank everybody in this room and everybody all throughout the country, throughout the world, if you want to really know the truth. Thank you, Darrell. Thank you. We will be united and strong like never before. We will save and strengthen America, and we will fight the onslaught of radicalism, socialism, and indeed it all leads to communism once and for all. That's what it leads to. You'll be hearing more and more about that as we go along, but that's what it leads to. You know that. We all knew that the Biden administration was going to be bad, but none of us even imagined just how bad they would be and how far left they would go. He never talked about this. We would have those wonderful debates. He would never talk about this. We didn't know what the hell he was talking about, actually. His campaign was all lies, talked about energy. I said, this guy actually, he's okay with energy. He wasn't okay with energy. Wants to put you all out of business. He's not okay with energy. He wants windmills, the windmills that don't work when you need them. Joe Biden has had the most disastrous first month of any president in modern history. That's true. Already the Biden administration has proven that they are anti-jobs, anti-family, anti-borders, anti-energy, anti-women, and anti-science. In just one short month, we have gone from America first to America last. You think about it, right? America last. There's no better example than the new and horrible crisis on our southern border. We did such a good job. It was all worked. Nobody's ever seen anything like we did, and now he wants it all to go to hell. When I left office just 6 weeks ago, we had created the most secure border in U.S. history. We had built almost 500 miles of great border wall. That helped us with these numbers because once it's up, they used to say a wall doesn't work. Well, you know what I've always said? Walls and wheels, those are two things that will never change. The wall has been amazing. It's been incredible, and little sections of it to complete. They don't want to complete it. They don't want to complete little sections in certain little areas. They don't want to complete, but it's had an impact that nobody would have even believed. It's amazing considering that the Democrats' number one priority was to make sure that the wall would never, ever get built, would never, ever happen, would never get financed. We got it financed. We ended catch and release, ended asylum fraud, and brought illegal crossings to historic lows. When illegal aliens trespass across our borders, they were promptly caught, detained, and sent back home. And these were some rough customers. I want to tell you, some rough customers were entering our country. It took the new administration only a few weeks to turn this unprecedented accomplishment into a self-inflicted humanitarian and national security disaster. By recklessly eliminating our border, security measures, controls, all of the things that we put into place, Joe Biden has triggered a massive flood of illegal immigration into our country, the likes of which we have never seen before. They're coming up by the tens of thousands.
Well, let's be honest here, all right? This is this is mostly young kids at this point. All right, it's what it is. All right, at this point this month they've caught more young children, you know what I'm saying, under the age of 17 who have walked across the border than they had ever in the history of, you know what I'm saying, us recording it. And this has a lot to do with, you know what I'm saying, like Soros open border groups and things of this nature standing here bringing children in because they said they were going to pass DACA, right? That's what that's really about. You know what I mean? End of the day. All right. So let's, you know what I mean? Let's keep this all into perspective here. And it's still bad. And it's mostly all males. All right. Let's keep that all the way 102.
They're all coming to take advantage of the things that he said that's luring everybody to come to America. And we're one country. We can't afford the problems of the world as much as we'd love to. We'd love to help, but we can't do that. So they're all coming because of promises and foolish words. Perhaps worst of all, Joe Biden's decision to cancel border security has single-handedly launched a youth migrant crisis that is enriching child smugglers, vicious criminal cartels, and some of the most evil people on the planet. You see it every day. Just turn on the news. You'll see it every day. Under my administration, we stopped the child smugglers. We dismantled the criminal cartels. We greatly limited drug and human trafficking to a level that nobody actually thought was possible, and the wall helped us a lot. And we protected vulnerable people from the ravages of dangerous predators. And that's what they are, dangerous predators.
Here is why Trump, and here's how Trump loses the plot, all right? And I'll be honest with you, this started off, you know what I mean, like really actually got started off and really was given credence by one thing. And it's terrible that it was this one thing that legitimately, you know what I mean, destroyed the entire dialogue in America about immigration.
Those Cpacs are taking our jobs.
You're goddamn right. These people from the future are taking all the work away from us decent present-day Americans. They took our jobs! They took our jobs!
All right, Redneck, your rebuttal.
They took our jobs! They took our jobs!
Well, let's be honest here, all right? That one show legitimately put a nail in the entire conversation the unions had been having for the past 100 years at that point about whether or not, you know what I'm saying, like immigrants affect the labor market. And it always does. No matter where you are, you can't bring in a massive amount of migrant workers and end up still having the same wages on the other side. It's that basic principle. It's that basic position. And I mean, like, yo, all these conversations that Donald Trump and these individuals have are complete and utter horseshit in the end of the day about criminal elements and all the other bullshit. And I mean, because when it comes down to it, you know, Mexicans commit less crime than blacks do. And I mean, by a very large margin, right? And like, we already have criminal elements inside of this country that are much, much worse than the Mexicans are. All right. And that's not the conversation that we should be having in general, is about their, you know, I mean, their criminal activity. What we should be having is a conversation about, you know, I mean, the labor rates and, you know, I mean, how badly the American worker is getting fucked on a regular basis.
But the Biden administration has put the vile coyotes back in business, and it has done so in a very, very big way. Under the new administration, catch and release has been restored. Can you imagine? We work so hard. Catch, you know what that is. You catch them. You take their name. They may be killers. They may be rapists. They may be...
All right, let me show you the real reason we're having this conversation about criminals instead of having a conversation, you know, per se, about fucking labor and about fucking the ability of fucking blue collar workers to be able to stand here and get a raise that they haven't had since the 1970s. All right, and you guys want actual evidence about this legitimately here, you can check out these two graphs. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure I'll pop them up in the Discord. Make sure you join the Discord legitimately. You know what I mean? You can have these conversations and I'll talk with anybody about anything at any time. I really don't care as long as I'm not working. You know how that works. You know, I gotta make money for my family. All right. And I will stand here and I'll show you the graphs about, you know, I mean, everything that's going on, whether it's, you know, I mean, how the United States, you know, I mean, basic blue collar worker hasn't had a raise since the 1970s. And, you know, I'm saying how, you know, I mean, like production has gone up and, you know, I mean, output has gone up. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, immigration has also gone up through the roof, and it basically matches the amount of output that we've had, while at the same time, you know what I mean, standing here keeping our pay as flat as possible. That's what this is really about at the end of the day. And I'm going to show you a video that proves you that right here.
100 years ago, when Upton Sinclair wrote The Jungle, there was a beef trust that wielded enormous power. Immigrants from Eastern Europe were being abused in the absence of any kind of government regulation. There were horrible, disfiguring injuries and even deaths. Things got better. They slowly got better. Teddy Roosevelt took on the beef trust. Labor unions slowly organized meatpacking workers and turned it into one of the best industrial jobs in the United States. By the 1950s, to be a meatpacking worker was like being an auto worker. There was a good wage, good benefits, pension, and then what happened? Well, the meatpacking companies got bigger in order to serve the needs of the fast food industry, which was its biggest customer. Some of the meatpacking companies, like IBP, borrowed the same sort of labor practices in the fast food industry, cutting wages, making sure there were no unions, speeding up production, and having the worker do the same task again and again and again. And meatpacking is now one of the most dangerous jobs in the United States. The meatpacking industry also recruited a new set of immigrants, illegal immigrants and recent immigrants from Mexico.
Many of the illegal immigrants coming to America were corn farmers in Mexico. NAFTA led to a flooding of the Mexican market with cheap American corn. It's put more than 1.5 million Mexican farmers out of work. They couldn't compete with this cheap corn coming from America. So what happens to those 1.5 million Mexican farmers?
Meatpackers like IBP, National Beef, and Montford began actively recruiting in Mexico. Companies advertised on the radio and newspapers. IBP set up a bus service in Mexico to bring workers into the United States. For years, the government turned a blind eye to the recruitment of immigrants by the meatpacking industry. But now, when there's an anti-immigrant movement, they're cracking down all of a sudden, but they're not cracking down on these companies. The government is cracking down on the workers.
Immigration agents are arresting Smithfield workers at this trailer park. This is an agreement between Smithfield and immigration authorities. They get rid of 15 workers per day, but you don't see any massive raids. That way, it doesn't affect the production line.
Drug smugglers, you take their name and you release them into our country. We did the opposite. We not only didn't release them, we had them brought back to their country. Illegal immigrants are now being apprehended and released along the entire southern border, just the opposite of what it was 2 months ago. They weren't coming because they couldn't get in.
Well, the truth is that they didn't really stand here and not come because they couldn't get in. The thing is like, yo, the Mexican president and Donald Trump, who probably should have never got along because, you know, the guy's like legitimately a socialist, had a really good deal and they got along very, very well. And he agreed that, you know, Donald Trump would stand here and bend on a lot of trade things, but the Mexican president would enforce the border at the southern part of Mexico. That's huge. Legitimately, that's a very big thing. That's really important to understand is that when Mexico does its job, we do our job, right? And so, you know, I mean, Mexico legitimately doesn't want to fight the drug smugglers. They want to make their country better. So, like, legitimately, they can stand here and have these guys go, like, why would I be a drug smuggler? Why would I go make, you know, I mean, nothing and live in a shanty with 12 other guys, you know, I mean, growing coca leaves, when I could sit here and, you know, like make decent money as an engineer or as a doctor or as, you know, I mean, whatever, you know, I mean, whatever manufacturing thing that they were going to do down there. And that was, I mean, big for Mexico. And that's what, I think the guy's name Obrador, right? That's what he really wanted to do. And that's what was important. And now, you know, I mean, Joe Biden legitimately, because of the fact that Joe Biden is a piece of shit and a globalist, you know, he's fucking over Mexico and he's fucking over the United States as a whole. I hate Joe Biden. Get nothing misunderstood. I'm not a Democrat or a leftist, but I'm pro us. Legitimately, I'm pro me and you. I'm pro who we are, right? I'm pro us making money. I'm pro our families doing all right. I'm pro America being better, right? And like, I'm not about, you know, like all this nonsense with these stupid ideologies of libertarianism or anarcho-capitalism or, you know, I mean, micro-capitalism or whatever nonsense that you want to fucking stand here and put things into. I'm not about any of these type of things. I'm about us doing well. That's the most important part. But you know the deal, man. Yo, look, if you like the content, you know, support the channel, hit the Patreon link, hit that Streamlabs link, you know what I'm saying? Come join the Discord, you know what I'm saying? And be alerted of every video and every live stream that I do. I know a lot of y'all be missing stuff on a regular basis unless I put it up in the Discord to let everybody know that I'm there because, you know, YouTube's not handing out notifications for channels that they strike on a regular basis because, well, you know, they're pieces of shit. Anyway, yo, look, I'm Tom Pease with Pnoid News. Y'all know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what I mean? Make sure you share this bitch out. Get it out here to everybody. I'm Tom Pease. Later.